The first test is initiated with the patient prone, arms at sides, and their shoulder internally rotated, that is, their palm up. The patient raises their arm off the table, keeping their elbow straight while the therapist applies resistance over the posterior arm just above the elbow.
Lift your arm as high as you can. Hold it. Don't let me push it down. And relax.
It's the same thing.
This test position can also be used to assess shoulder extension for grades 3 and below by having the patient attempt to raise their arm as high as they can off the table. The examiner palpates for activity in the key muscles including the posterior deltoid, teres major, and latissimus dorsi. The second test for shoulder extension isolates latissimus dorsi function. It begins with the patient prone, head turned toward the test side, arms at side, and their shoulder internally rotated, that is, their palm up. The test shoulder is hiked to the level of the chin. During the test maneuver, the patient depresses their arm and shoulder caudally, leading to an approximation of the rib cage and pelvis. The therapist resists this motion using two hands which are placed around the forearm.
Reach towards your feet. Hold it. Don't let me push your arm towards your head. And relax.
This test position can also be used to isolate latissimus dorsi activity for grades 3 and below. The patient attempts to push their arm toward their feet, while the examiner palpates the latissimus dorsi on the side of the thoracic wall below and lateral to the inferior angle of the scapula.
Reach down toward your feet and relax.
The final test for shoulder extension starts with the patient seated, with hands flat on the table, adjacent to their hips. If the patient's arms are too short to assume this position, a push-up block can be provided for each hand. The patient pushes down through their hands, lifting their buttocks from the table. The therapist palpates fibers of the latissimus dorsi on the lateral aspects of the thoracic wall bilaterally, just above the waist.
Raise your bottom off the table and relax.